Well, it's Friday night, and I figured I wanted to do an experiment. The 4 barrel is nice. It's a little tricky to drive when you're racing it because you got to kind of leave on the set on the primaries and then kind of floor it once it gets out there. I mean, if I had a gear in it, we're going to revisit that later. But I want to see if it's actually faster. So I'm going to put this back on. That's the Holley back on there. And we know that this thing is a fire-breathing death biscuit of a 16.85. And then I even got better. It went at 10.5 in the 8th at Sykeston. Yeah. So we're gonna put the 2 barrel on there, and then we're gonna put the tires on it, and we're gonna go to a local track, and we're gonna see if we can better that score. I think it might. I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, this thing did pretty good. I mean, it still got 24 something miles to the gallon, so can't complain there. And it got into the 16s, but we're going to give it a shot. So, but to make this fit on the Offenhauser, I have to do some work, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to try to do it without taking the intake manifold off, because it is a pain in the butt with the Dulcer Duals, or the dual Dulcer Duals, because these bolts right down in here are just nearly impossible to get to. It's hard enough on the engine stand. I don't even want to do it in here. So we're going to try some stuff. So moving on. Okay, so here's what we got. We got this taken off. Got rags stuck in each one of these things. I'm going to JB weld. I'm going to put bolt down there to take up slack. Then I'm going to pack JB weld in there. And I'm using this high temp, high heat stuff, 450 degrees. And then I'm going to bolt this down with tape on it. So that way it molds it where I want it to be. Let it dry overnight, because eventually I'm going to be putting this on there, so that way I can put that back on there. So hopefully we'll be riding. I'll be riding this weekend with 2-barrel fire-breathing death biscuit monster. Alrighty, moving on. So there it is, little putty right up underneath there. What that's for, so if you're familiar with these Offenhausers, there's, like I said, there's that little dip out there, and the tape there is going to allow that not to stick. So we're going to let this sit overnight. So that way we have a hard little thing. That's where we got to cut it out here. And then I'm going to cut this all the way down both sides. Open that up, and then I'm going to taper my intake, the actual intake itself. So that way it tapers back to those back there, and just roll that out. You can kind of see that I've already done that there to kind of get the fuel back there to the back. I'm going to do it just a lot more on both ends, just to help the fuel distribution a little bit. Anyways, here we go. This is Friday night. We're going to let this sit, and we'll be riding tomorrow. All right. It is Saturday morning, and let's see what we got. Ooh, one of the few times you're going to actually see me twist a bolt. Let's see what we got. This is that hardened stuff. Oh yeah, it comes off easy. What do we got? What do we got? Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, nice and smooth. I'm just going to hit that with a little bit of a file. Trying to make these segments as fast as possible. So what I did is I put this piece down in there. I cut it out. So that way this will also fit a 4-barrel. And then I'm going to taper this, taper this, taper this, and taper this. But this is all good. That's the side that's in question right there, but that's nice and smooth. And then over here, I lined it out where I'm going to cut it there, and then the half moon there. And I'm going to go ahead and cut those right now. Alrighty, quickly moving on. Okay, so I got it all opened up. I'm going to bolt this down tight and smooth all these so that way these two are blended together. Then once I take that off, then I'm going to come in here and bevel the edges around here to kind of help that out. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the back side of this to bevel that edge. So that way it cleans that up. So that way I give it the best chance possible. And then that way I can take this and put a 4-barrel back on here and or a 2-barrel. All right, we will make noise and clean this up too, because it is dirty. Okay, so it's all done. It's all been contoured. It all fits in there nicely. There's a nice plenum volume now. These have all been tapered back, so this is all This is much better of an entry angle there. This has all been entried. These ones I kept a little sharper, so that way the fuel has to come down and go. So it's a, you know, trying to make those as long as possible, even though it doesn't really help. I don't need to show you every single step. I would guess you guys can figure it out. But these are all tapered like I did before. Pulled out the packing. Then with this, here's a little trick. Take a hose, shove a hose in there, and then this way you can control the amount of flow with your fingers, and that way you can kind of suck it in. And that way you can get back in there in the back of the little nooks and crannies. So yeah, that's first step. And I put the gasket on there, cut it. Then I just ground it down, the gasket, so that way it fit. It's nice and tight. And I tighten those down. And yeah, moving on to the next step. We're going to be putting this on, and then I'll show you how I'm going to adjust the carburetor, because the carburetor was set 60/60 6.5. Now this was a different complete setup. This had the single manifold and a much smaller camshaft, much smaller, a lot of things, because it's got a lot more exhaust flow and it's a bigger camshaft. I'm probably going to go up 4 jets on this because it's just a flow, and then this I'm going to go down to a 5.5 for right now, and then we'll see where it's at when I start going up and down some of the little gradients as I slowly pull into the throttle, if the air fuel mixture goes way up or not. So I'll show you how to do that on a later video. But anyways, yep. We're gonna make running here soon. Yeah, I know I skipped ahead a little bit, but anyways, so this is the low car setup. To put it on a 2-barrel, you gotta slightly bend it up. I put it on this back bolt back here, and it seems to work really good. So, and then I have this adjusted so that way it's just barely. I can pull it back, so it's actually a little loose, but I can go from there. And I decided to go with the 62 and the 5.5. I always write them right there, so that way I know. And right now I'm just doing the line. I got it bent up, and then I always put the little heat shrink on there, or a heat wrap, so that way, you know, just cut the hose, and then we're gonna start making some noise here in a second, and we'll see what it does. Alrighty. All right, so there it is. We're gonna go give it a start. See what we get. Let's see what we get. Huh. So awesome. So awesome. Yeah, here we go. Valves are a little ticky because they're a little cold. Yeah, there we go. See how this thing's doing. Oh yeah. Creating the vacuum nicely. Good. Well, there it is. Yay. I get to clean this shit all up. We're going to try to go for a drive, but it looks like it's about to rain outside pretty good, so I don't know. Let this thing warm up and we'll go, maybe at least hose it off and go for a drive. All right. Well, Houston, we have a problem. You saw the video. I started up and it idled perfectly. I was actually rather surprised, like absolutely shocked. So, but I couldn't take a video of the drive because I'm still low budget as far as this channel goes. I have a phone that I do all my recording with. So my phone is also my wideband. So, all right, we'll take it apart, see what we got.